Hi, I'm Jenoa.
I'm Mo.
Today we are having
The sex talk.
I wanted to ask Mo about something that I've been reading about recently. That there are people who believe that sex addiction is not a real addiction. So I feel like a couple of years ago everybody's like, oh, sex addict, sex addict. So what is it? Which is true.
And I've been posting it all over, like how I don't really necessarily think it's a real thing.
Interesting.
As a therapist, we look at certain things that are addiction if they are really affecting your lifestyle, like in a bad way, in a negative way. Financially, are your finances being affected? Are your relationships, family, work? If any of those are being affected from their daily functioning, it's something that needs to be taken a look at. And can sex be that? Absolutely, yes. It can be something that takes over where you can't focus on anything but sex. But I don't know if I really like the term sex addiction. And I think a lot of that has to do with, I don't necessarily know if I fit into the addiction model of treatment anyway.
So what would define an addiction then in this case?
So I guess, like a real common type of sex addiction is porn addiction. And porn addiction is real in the sense that if you're watching porn all day long and you're spending lots and lots of money, because a lot of porn sites charge money, and it's depleting your bank accounts, and you're not working as hard because every time you get anxious, you decide you need to go and masturbate, or you need to go and hang out with a webcam girl, or whatever it is you're doing. Then it can become addicting. But I just don't like the term addiction, sex addiction. People come into my office and they plop down on the couch and they're like, I'm a sex addict. So people are sort of self-diagnosing themselves as sex addicts these days.
So you think that people are calling themselves sex addicts when they're actually not that severely affected by sex in their life?
People could potentially use it as a scapegoat to looking at what's really going on. Usually, if you're doing anything compulsively, there's something going on. It doesn't have to be sex, it doesn't have to be drugs, but we can substitute one compulsion for the other.
I mean, aren't you just using something to numb your pain?
Yeah.
Or distract yourself from the pain?
Distract yourself from the pain.
So that's what you're saying, there's an issue at hand.
Using the term addiction forces us to not take accountability for what's really going on.
Okay, so you're saying people who are like, I'm a sex addict, they're just using that as an excuse to excuse their bad behavior in the past.
Or why did you cheat? Oh, because I'm a sex addict. Instead of, well, why do people really cheat? Chances are, 9 times out of 10, you could check out our episode on infidelity, that they weren't getting some sort of need fulfilled in their relationship. A lot of times they're feeling neglected, they're feeling underappreciated, they're feeling unheard. There are many reasons people go outside of the relationship to get their self-esteem needs met that they're not getting from their partner. It's just such a cop-out to say, oh, well, I was cheating because I am a sex addict.
So really you shouldn't use any addiction label to cop out any behavior, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, people do act poorly when they're in the grips of addiction.
Yeah,
that is true.
Perhaps you're abusing drugs and abusing sex, but to call it an addiction, addiction means illness, and it's not if you really pay attention and you know what's going on with yourself and you can verbalize what your needs are. It all goes back to knowing yourself and being able to verbalize what your needs are.
So someone's stuffing the hole with sex, with this hole of darkness inside them of bad feelings they don't want to feel, and some people stuff it with food, and some people stuff it with sex, and some people stuff it with video games, and some people, the idea is that you should look at what the issue is really here that you're not wanting to feel. And that behavior of stuffing the hole with something doesn't necessarily make you an addict.
Yeah. It definitely means there's something going on and there's something wrong. There's something that you are not happy with, and it's important to address that, for sure.
You might just need to do the same old work that everybody has to do on looking deep inside and seeing what is in there that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
You might not be a sex addict, you might be normal.
Yeah.
You might be normal and focusing on stuff to not feel your pain.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing about addiction is one of the models of healing addiction is abstinence, and you don't want to have to be abstinent from sex your whole life.
Yeah. I think sex addiction model will encourage abstinence. SLAA, which is Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, they do suggest a period of time for abstinence.
That makes sense.
And they do that in AA as well in terms of relationships. They recommend not getting involved for like 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
And that's that in and of itself can be good, but it's not necessarily realistic if you're already in a relationship.
Yeah.
So you really have to, I mean, every program needs to be tailored for the person, but I just feel like labeling something an addiction limits our ability to look at something holistically.
I appreciate that viewpoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
You might not be an addict, you might just be dealing with your issues through sex instead of dealing with your issues.
Yeah.
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 All right, I love it. Thank you.
Cool, thanks.
Sex talk.